April begins with a Libra full moon, exact on April 1st, 2026 at 10:12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, so be sure and adjust for your location. This Libra full moon is happening at 12 degrees of Libra, 21 minutes in your chart. You would identify this degree point by house location, as this is where something is coming to your awareness that needs to be balanced and brought into a new state of equilibrium. Libra is cardinal air. It's initiating important conversations, discussions, and analysis that leads you to a clear choice or more understanding of what you're meant to see. And so this is an interactive energy. Libra is specifically about one-on-one interactions. People you have collaborations, partnerships, and relationships with. Your ability to state what you need, to express yourself, and to also listen and receive the same from them is part of the Libra dynamic. So with a full moon in Libra, it's going to bring to light something you didn't previously see or know about the other. This could be a specific person in your life. This could be about something in your world that you weren't seeing objectively. The Libra energy steps back to analyze and assess, and then looks for ways to communicate what you have realized and what you're thinking. So this can certainly be important conversations are had as April begins. The Libra energy can also go into analysis paralysis, not being sure what to choose, what to say. There's also the energy of comparison with Libra. That is one of the shadow expressions. Comparing yourself to another, looking at what they have or who they are, assessing something in another person, and then comparing that to yourself. And that is a strong theme with the sun here in Aries on the other side of the chart. This is the lineup for every full moon, where the sun is on one side and the moon is on the other. This is the relational axis in astrology. It's the me energy of Aries and the us energy of Libra. And so you could see partnerships in a new way. You could feel ready to express or communicate something that you've been keeping inside. There could be a need to be more objective, to step back and understand something in a new light or in a new way. This is also the other side of a story or another person's viewpoint or perspective. During the Libra full moon, you'll want to be open to what others have to say to ensure that you're truly hearing them and what their intentions are. This can be supportive of understanding what someone else needs, as well as being honest in communicating what you need. So there is meant to be something that is realigned in the Libra full moon, a realignment between the sense of self, who you are, what you need, with what's going on around you or outside of you or in another person. There could be problems to solve, and this energy can assist with that if you trust that Libra energy to be objective, stand back, observe, and know that everyone has their own viewpoint, everyone has their own choices, to not personalize it, and to understand that there is a solution for everything, multiple solutions, in fact. And so this could be an energy that's propelling you forward into important conversations that improve relationships, partnerships, interactions, or anything that involves another, which is a big category. Now, another influential part of the Libra full moon is that both the sun and the moon are receiving a square from this Jupiter in Cancer, which recently stationed direct March 10th and is still at 15 degrees of Cancer. Now, this is an energy that's going to amplify how you really feel. And if there's things that you're struggling to say or express, this is going to push you past any kind of mental barrier, because this Jupiter in Cancer is a container holding a lot of emotions. And these are the emotions you've been filtering out or learning from, making you wiser, more emotionally intelligent, more tuned in to perhaps what you're really feeling and sensing that isn't what you first expected. Meaning, this Jupiter in Cancer has been asking you to go into deeper layers of who you are and what you need, and access maybe a core imprint from when you were younger, to go into previous memories and assess what is still living within you. I feel that this Jupiter, because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, I feel that there are some important understandings that maybe you've been arriving at. And this full moon is a trigger of expression, especially since the moon rules Cancer. There could be a lot of emotions, a lot of heart openings that occur. A strong influence that overrides what you thought you would say or what was planned out or analyzed. I feel that the square from Jupiter is going to actually take over an ideal equilibrium, and is also going to be amplifying a personal truth that is ready to emerge. So emotional triggers are strong here with the Libra full moon. Now, another energy that is important to assess is that Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus has just entered Taurus right before the full moon. She moves into Taurus March 30th. This is her home sign, her home turf, where she returns to what she needs. There's a calming influence here, a sense of comfort, stability, practicality, and downtime. This is where Venus understands what her priorities are because she's sensing what matters to her. And it feels like this Venus is in a very interesting place of transformation around her self-love, values, finances, and creativity, because at the full moon, she is in a square to Pluto, and the square is increasing. So it isn't exact at the full moon. Rather, the full moon brings to light an important and uncomfortable change that Venus is moving through that will last into the first few days of April until she gets to 5 degrees of Taurus, which is when she'll be exact to this Pluto. And so this is where we're going to be feeling and sensing how everything in the world at this time is now impacting us more personally. That you're going to be feeling things more in your pocketbook. You're going to be sensing the choices you have to make, maybe to let something go. Something you would normally purchase or buy, you're realizing this is not the right time. This is not the right time because of what's going on globally. I have to assess my needs, be practical around what is a good investment with my money, but also your time, your focus. Understanding, is this paying off? Is this going to lead to a payoff? Is this a good investment of my resources? And there is a growing awareness here of what you have to leave behind and let go of that will continue. It will continue towards Easter, which is the Sunday following this full moon. And on that note, I want to note that Easter is a lunar-based holiday. The reason why Easter here in at least America is on a different day every year is because it's tied to the full moon. And Easter occurs the first Sunday after the full moon, after the Aries equinox. And that's why sometimes Easter is in March and other times it's in April, late April even, because it occurs on that first Sunday after the Libra full moon. And so the Libra full moon brings something into our awareness that needs to be solved, discussed, or brought into a new state of equilibrium. But there is more pressure here on this Venus in Taurus, where she's feeling what needs to change and how it's affecting her as we move into April. And it's bringing her into a greater place of understanding what is essential, what she really needs versus what is just maybe too decadent or too overboard. Venus in Taurus is not overboard, but this is where you could say, okay, I've got to make some changes in my finances of, where things are going out but not coming in, where I need to remain in my power around my creativity and my financial energy. But there's practical decision making here that is going to be a big part of our entry into April. Also important to note that this Venus has left Aries, and so now there are currently 4 planets in Aries, although technically there's 5 if we include Eris. Eris is at 25 degrees of Aries, making this Chiron and Eris conjunction again for the third and final time, bringing up something at a deep soul level that you have been healing, especially any themes around your sense of self, your right to exist, standing in your courageous power to be a sovereign individual being. This can be triggering how you feel anger, impatience, or frustration. With a strong Aries energy, pay attention to your body and anything that is pulsing through you that you need to manage or responsibly work through, because part of this energy here in Aries season is that there is an ignition, a beginning point of moving forward that is quite profound. And you could be feeling it physically and energetically. I've been seeing this as energy arising from the root chakra that is being cleared out, especially around previous versions of self, previous self-identities, and previous levels of consciousness that no longer resonate with who you are now. And I've been seeing it as a big part of our toroidal field, which is part of our aura, and how that energy is moving faster within us. It is spinning in an energetic loop. It is part of our electromagnetic field. And I feel that part of this increase of planets in Aries is stimulating new parts of ourselves that others are feeling in our aura, in our electromagnetic field, which then affects more of what you pull in, like your own gravitational field is going to be manifesting and pulling in new creations because of how you are changing at that baseline energetic level. And so you might be feeling that renewal and rebirth energy here, especially as we move further into April. Now, all of these planets in Aries are still ruled by Mars. Mars is now at 23 degrees of Pisces, almost 24 degrees, and is in a mutual reception with Neptune. Mutual reception means they're in each other's ruling sign. So this Mars and Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, Neptune in Aries, Aries is ruled by Mars. So there's an interesting conversation here between these two planets, because in a sense, they're strengthening the cause of the other. Now, Mars is known for being weak here in Pisces. He's in a state of surrender and letting go of the past 2 years. 2 years, because that's how long it takes Mars to move around the full zodiac wheel, including his retrograde cycle. And so this Mars is actually letting go of a lot and clearing out any spiritual debris, karmic energies, emotional residue, anything that has limited his capacity to feel strong, confident, assertive, and ready to go. He is clearing out energies of the past 2 years, while this Neptune in Aries is holding a higher vision of the divinely timed new beginnings that are presenting themselves. Mars will enter into Aries April 9th. And so this Neptune is holding a direction forward that I'm feeling as like a sacred space, that whatever is finalizing, unraveling, or unwinding here is giving you greater capacity and energy for what Mars is going to initiate in April, when Mars will be in his ruling sign of Aries, just as Venus is in her ruling sign of Taurus. So we'll have strong masculine, strong feminine energies, and there will be a sense that the work you've been doing is paying off. The timeline you've been trusting will be worth it. Where you have surrendered, delayed, hesitated, let something go, is going to actually serve you well once Mars gets into Aries and we have a very big lineup of planets that will move ahead in Aries. Additionally, this Mercury is now direct in Pisces at 14 degrees, still in the shadow territory of the retrograde, hopefully allowing you to see things in a new light and to move ahead after you've had to let go and release. It's interesting because, see, listen how I'm like losing my words now. That's very Mercury in Pisces. It's like I can't grasp the right thing to say. I'm losing my words. And that's what's needed. There's something you're meant to leave behind. Story, narrative, communication, message, information. This has been a clearing out of Mercury and Pisces. And so if you don't have the words for something, perhaps that's validation that you have mentally reconfigured or realigned yourself to focus on what will be essential going forward and what is not. So this is energies that you've already been in, that are the past or previous cycles that both Mars and Mercury are closing out and ultimately moving away from. But both of these planets will be in Aries for the Aries new moon on April 17th. Of course, I'll have the next video for you on that. But there is a prep mode that the mind and body are moving through. You could feel like the mind and body are slower, the slow caboose that almost like you're dragging. It's dragging you back. But it's in a finalizing cycle that might not even make sense right now. This is the energy of, I don't know why something happened. I don't know why something didn't happen. I don't have the understanding of it. But then once Mercury and Mars move into Aries, things will make sense because, again, this is where the previous timelines are finalizing and the new starts are concurrently coming through. So on that note, we have to mention that this Saturn is at 5 degrees of Aries in a sextile to Pluto at 5 degrees of Aquarius. I've done a few videos for you discussing this energy. That's because it is the energy of powerfully building, of taking and harnessing your new dream, responsibilities, commitments, and sense of purpose forward by facing a fear or big fears, by looking at what is best for the collective. This could even be you're getting some powerful new visions of what to move towards next, of what to build. And it's uniquely aligned with your electromagnetic field and who you are. So it's interesting because it's personal and collective. This is very creative energy. Both the Aquarius and Aries energies want to move forward, want to move ahead. They work together well. They are best friends in a sextile. And so there's mutual support for what you're desiring to put your time, energy, and effort into. A creative new endeavor connected to where humanity is going. I'm certainly feeling this as supporting new earth frequencies, new collective visions and dreams around what's possible. This energy is also very independent. Both Aquarius and Aries are independent, but here there's a joining of forces where they're on the same page and their understanding will go further together. Just like that really beautiful African proverb. And in fact, it's quite fitting because the proverb, as I know it, is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And the Aries energy tends to go alone and go fast. But this is Pluto saying you don't have to build it alone. You don't have to work on it alone. And it will benefit more people or impact more at an empowered level if you do something together. And it's interesting because, again, each energy is typically quite independent. And maybe this would be important to align with the Libra full moon of how do we do this together? How do we work together? What needs to be discussed, figured out? What is the problem solving that is going to be implemented? And it feels like a bigger dream is forming. You might even have a sense of who to interact with during the Libra full moon, which again brings your attention to the other people, other individuals. Who do I collaborate with? Who do I partner with? Who do I have this conversation about? So if you have something big on your mind, you could be feeling that you need to discuss it with somebody. And as you do so, a lot of emotions or bigger things come forward around how much it means to you, because there's definitely meaning here with this Jupiter in Cancer squaring the sun and squaring the moon. And as this takes shape or takes form, Pluto squaring Venus is going to change what Venus alone would typically choose, because now she's feeling the influence of this Pluto in Aquarius that expands the vision. Think bigger, think further, reassess your time, your resources, your commitments to work with this. And it could be that this pressure from this particular Pluto that's working well with Saturn, they're overriding what Venus would normally choose for herself. So do keep that in mind. I feel like that's part of the growing pressure, is that Venus would typically say, well, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do. But the energies here are bringing her consciousness to other people, the long-term vision and perspective, and asking her to reassess how she's building and what she's valuing. And so that means Venus, as the ruler of the full moon, actually has to take other people into consideration and the long-term perspective, bring that into her viewpoint. She has to make those important parts of her decision-making. And I feel too like this is where Venus is also going to be moving into more of her feminine energy as the energy drops into the body, which is also Taurus. So yes, Aries is the body. It's the ability to get up and go, to make moves, to be energized. But the Taurus energy is the body in terms of your everyday habits, lifestyle choices, how you feel grounded in your body, and also how you regulate your nervous system, how you calm it down. Almost like the Aries energy will get the heart pumping, and then the Taurus energy is how you settle and allow things to move through. I feel like this Venus is a very important part of the story here during the Libra full moon. Simply because she is the ruling planet and she's receiving this square from Pluto that's working in harmony with Saturn. It's almost like this Venus has to give up something that she wouldn't actively choose in order to move further ahead and expand into the new world, new earth, new visions that are coming onto the planet. So quite the Libra full moon that begins the month of April. But I hope this helps validate anything you might be moving through, anything that's coming up for you to choose or to prioritize. I think that basically the bigger influence here is the Pluto sextiling Saturn is actually a dominant energy in this chart. And that could be what the Libra full moon is bringing your attention to. The choices you need to make around what you're creating, developing, planning, and structuring for the future. So as always, thank you so much for your comments, your likes, and your shares. It is always a joy to connect with you here on YouTube. I love this community. I appreciate all of you. I'm glad this is a space where we can talk and share the astrological energies. And I will be back with another video for you soon. And of course, we'll be looking at that Aries new moon coming up in a few weeks. Wishing you a beautiful start to April and a beautiful Libra full moon.